Welcome to this League of Women Voters Forum for candidates running for the Democratic Party nomination for 3 Norfolk County offices. I'm Karen Price, President of the League of Women Voters of Needham. The forum is co-hosted by the leagues in Norfolk County, the League of Women Voters of Needham, Brookline, Norwood, Sharon Stoughton, Wellesley, and Westwood Walpole Dedham. Members of the League of Women Voters at Needham High School Club have also taken an active role in planning and presenting this forum. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan, multi-issue organization that encourages informed, active participation of citizens in government. The League does not support or oppose candidates or political parties. No League members involved in this forum are endorsing any of these candidates. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are holding this forum as a Zoom webinar. Within this format, we are doing our best to emulate a live forum. We are also subject to possible technical glitches, and we ask you, the audience, to bear with us and to especially understand that the candidates may experience sound or screen issues totally beyond their or our control. Student members have researched and are presenting information on Norfolk County and each office. The offices include Register of Probate, County Commissioner, and County Treasurer. Norfolk County Sheriff is also on the ballot, and we invite voters to view a recording of our July 29th forum. See lwvneedham.org or the Needham channel to watch, or search on YouTube. We will hear from the 11 candidates running in the 3 offices in the Democratic primary. These offices have no contested races in the other party primaries. We will start with some background on Norfolk County, presented by Abigail Sprinsky.
Norfolk County is made up of 28 communities in Massachusetts. Norfolk County is one of 14 counties in the state. Norfolk is one of 5 counties that maintains its county government as a separate government body. Throughout history, most functions of county governments, including operation of courts and road maintenance, had been taken over by the state, and many county governments were abolished, but Norfolk County government still exists. Norfolk County government includes an executive branch with 3 county commissioners, a legislative branch with an advisory board made up of 1 person from each community who is appointed by the select board, manager, or mayor of each community, and they have a weighted power based on the community property evaluation. And there is also a treasury board. Revenue for Norfolk County comes from a share of taxes from communities, registry of deed receipts, reimbursement for court facilities maintenance expenses, and state and federal funding of individual county programs. Some programs and services of Norfolk County include the Registry of Deeds, running the Norfolk County Agricultural High School, the Wollaston Recreational Facility, the County Treasurer's Office, Retired and Senator Volunteer Programs, County Engineering Department, Trial Court Facilities Management, Appellate Tax Jurisdiction, some statutory jurisdiction over roads, and County Land Conservation and Open Space Management.
Thank you, Abigail. Our moderator today is Marie Gauthier. She is the president of the League of Women Voters of Franklin County and is on the board of the League of Women Voters of Massachusetts. Marie is a league-trained moderator, and she will lead us through the forum. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you, Karen. The candidates have been fully apprised of the format and ground rules. For the benefit of the audience, here is an overview. After one of our students presents a summary of the office, each candidate for that office will have 30 seconds to introduce him or herself in ballot order. I will then ask them questions in random order. Each candidate will answer all of the questions. The response time for questions is 1 minute. Rebuttals for individual questions will not be allowed. The questions were prepared in advance by the League of Women Voters and are based on questions collected from the public via email. We will finish with 90-second closing statements in reverse ballot order, then go on to the next office. Eva Gorenberg will present an overview of the first office, Register of Probate.
In Massachusetts, the Register of Probate is a state office within the judicial branch and therefore not technically part of county government, although it's obviously elected by the voters of the county and is elected for a 6-year term. The main objective of the registry is to organize and manage the probate and family court system, as well as to maintain public records of the court. And of course, this is all in regards to the probate and family court system, which has jurisdiction over matters like divorces, paternity, inheritances, estates, and any other probate or family matter. The job of the Norfolk County Register of Probate has two main aspects. One side is public customer service work, where the register ensures that the court system is open and understandable to the public, and also acts as a liaison between judges, attorneys, and clients. On the administrative side, the register manages the daily fiscal operations of the court, advocates for the budgetary needs, and oversees a staff of 26.
Thank you, Eva, and welcome to the 5 candidates running for Register of Probate. The current register is not running for re-election, so there is no incumbent candidate. We will start with 30-second opening statements from each candidate. Ms. Brierly, please introduce yourself and remember to unmute.
Hello, my name is Colleen Brierly. I'm from Norwood, and I'm running for Register of Probate and Family Court. I am the only candidate in this race who has spent her entire professional career working on behalf of families in our family court system. I have over 35 years working initially as a mental health worker, a DSS social worker, a family law attorney here in Norwood and in several counties in Massachusetts since 1996. I've also been a small business owner, and I'm the founder of a nonprofit agency that helps families all across the United States. I'm a litigator and I operate a private law practice. Thank you. And I'd ask for your vote.
Thank you. Mr. DeBona, please.
You guys have shut me off here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We need to see you.
You got me, you disabled me. Oh.
I think if you look down on the bottom left, you'll see where you need to press for start video.
Okay, can you hear me? So
We hear you.
you can start video because the host has disabled it. The host has me off.
Oh, hold on, let me see.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, there you go. You had me on host. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Noel DeBona. I'm running for Register of Probate. I've been a Quincy City Councilor for the last 5 years. I'm in my 3rd consecutive term. I have nearly 100,000 residents of the constituency and a $341 million budget. I'm a former school committee member before becoming a counselor. I'm a 24-year business owner, small business owner, and I currently am at the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office. In my 4th year, I work with children, seniors, and inmates. I also volunteer as a youth sports coach for the last 15 years. We only have 30 seconds, so I humbly ask for your vote on September 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hubley, would you please introduce yourself? Is she here?
I will get her back. Go to the next one.
Okay, we'll go on to Ms. Madden.
Thank you. My name's Courtney Madden. I am an attorney, a nonprofit executive, and an advocate, and I'm running for Norfolk County Register of Probate because the family and probate court touches each and every one of our homes. And if COVID-19 has taught us anything, it's that our homes matter. I want to say thank you to the League of Women Voters and all of the Democratic town committees who made today possible. I look forward to talking to you about my vision, my plan, and my background to execute those two things for the for the Register of Probate. Thank you.
Thank you. We still have, okay, well, let's move on to Mr. Wall. Oh, wait, Ms. Hubley's here. Go on. Please
Hi.
introduce yourself.
Thank you for bringing me back. Hi, I'm Catherine Hubley, and I'm running for Norfolk County Register of Probate, and I respectfully ask for your vote. I'm a mom, foster parent, teacher, family advocate, office specialist, and a Quincy School Committee member for 8 years. I grew up in Weymouth, attended the Weymouth Public Schools, got my associates in early childhood education, and my bachelor's in psychology with coursework in domestic violence. I've also achieved my Director II certification from the Department of Early Education and Care. Currently, I live in Quincy with my husband, Walter, and our 2 kids, Victoria and Nathan, both 2020 graduates. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Walsh, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Michael Walsh, and I'm running for the Register of Probate, obviously, but I am a practicing trial attorney for the last 33 years, and I am a 3-term selectman here in Westwood. Both positions have given me enough experience to be able to handle this job quite easily. I can tell you that I've been representing individuals and families, not only in the probate court, but in all courts across the United States, across Massachusetts. And I am licensed in the federal court as well. I have done this for 33 years. My clients will tell you I should be the next Register of Probate.
Thank you. For our first question, we will start with Mr. DeBona. Candidates have 1 minute to answer the question. The question is, what experience do you have that will help you manage a state office with 25 employees and work with judges and their staff? Mr. DeBona.
Thank you for the answer. Thank you for the question. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all today. I've been a small business owner for the last 24 years. We're managing and organizing day-to-day operation, customer relations, bookkeeping, and hiring employees. I also have a background at the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office for the last 4 years, where I've worked at a variety of different things with children, seniors, and inmates. A lot of the inmates that I work with as a reentry coordinator deals with very similar issues that are going on at the probate and family court, whether it be child custody, alimony, other avenues of restraining orders. The other side of the coin here that some people don't actually experience with another person. My experience working with nearly 100,000 constituents in the city of Quincy for the last 7 years, 5 of which have been an at-large counselor. The constituency services that I work with these different folks on in budgets of $341 million definitely gives me the experience of running this day-to-day operation at the probate and family court as your next Register of Probate. So I thank you for the opportunity to answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Brierly, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. For my entire career, I have been a manager in one form or another. As a DSS social worker, I was responsible for a caseload of 25 families who lived in Lynn, Massachusetts. I worked out of the Lynn DSS office. And in that role, it's a management of not just 25 people, but 25 families, which could be up to over 100 people. And that involved procuring them services, navigating them through the court system, through the education system, and keeping track of all of that, extensive record keeping, testifying in court as well. As a litigator who works in the court, I have a tremendous amount of experience working in the clerk's office. I actually worked as a clerk's aide and a probation aide and worked behind the scenes in the court. So I know how things work behind the scenes, but also in getting a case through the probate or family court or the district court. I've also worked in the superior court as well. It involves a great deal of management, record keeping, track of time standards, and all of that. So I do have a tremendous amount of experience working directly in the courts. It's different from the private sector. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Walsh, you have a minute. Please turn off your mute, unmute.
There you go. So as a 33-year attorney practicing every day, even during COVID, I've met individuals who probably for the first time. I've never met a lawyer. They come to my office, we go through step by step, give them as much information as they can so that they're able to make a judgment when their case is finally on for trial. So as a selectman, I deal with budgets, I deal with HR personnel, I deal with union contracts, and as a selectman, we make the budget. You know, we decide what will go into the budget this year, what won't go into the budget next year. So we have, my experience both as a trial attorney and a selectman, I think, make me uniquely qualified. I'm the only candidate in this race that is both an elected official and a practicing attorney. I'm a member of the Norfolk County Bar Association, and the past presidents are endorsing me for this race for the Register of Probate. They understand my knowledge, my extensive experience, and the fact that I am accessible to them all the time, and I would be accountable to them for how things happen at the probate court. There are several number of people, and I think I'm the most experienced. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hubley, you have 1 minute.
Hi, actually, my experience started off as a teacher working for South Shore Daycare, where I oversaw the running of the daycare during the day for 9 years. Worked there with the assistant teachers, and then moved on to working in a nonprofit private school where I was overseeing the Zoom makes me so nervous. Fundraising for the gala, mostly a team approach to where we ran the galas for the large fundraising needs of the school. And I strongly believe in this department, though. It's working with people who are in a job where it's listening to the constituents is very difficult in this position, and having understanding for this role is mostly working with people who need a lot of compassion in their jobs. So I feel like I'm very well accompanied for this position, having worked in the Quincy Public Schools with 9,000 parents and concerned for their families and their children.
Thank you. And Ms. Madden, please.
Thank you. So I've spent the last 20 years weaving a career between government and the nonprofit sector and the legal sector. Presently, I serve as executive director of the largest progressive training program in the country. I oversee operations in 30 states at 50 sites with a team of 1,500. So I understand how to zero in and empower a team, give them the tools that they need operationally, but I also understand budget challenges, both as a nonprofit executive where you can't simply raise taxes to make ends meet, but have to go out and find innovative solutions. But also through my government work, I was up in the state Senate during austerity measures in 2008 and 2009. And so I understand how to advocate for this department. And I'm really excited to focus on really 3 key areas of increasing a digital infrastructure, embracing how we can improve our accessibility, and finally zeroing in on those private-public partnerships that make a difference.
Thank you. For our next question, we will start with Ms. Hubley. If elected, what are your plans for your first year in office?
Thank you. My number 1 priority is accessibility. As I said, not everyone has a car, not everyone is tech savvy, and not everyone has the same online connections. Obtaining resources to the probate court and offices needs to be fair to all, and there needs to be options. I believe in looking at online access can be important to some, but it's not always equitable. And I think even in the best conditions, satellite offices need to be an option, and those need to be looked into first and foremost. And that would be my first thing that I would look into. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Madden.
So my first year would really be focused on increasing support to the 26 staff members right now who are dealing with a backlog of cases, but also trying to rapidly scale access points for our community because of COVID. My main areas, like I said, are scaling a digital infrastructure. Right now, we do have a Zoom meeting process for the courthouse, but thinking about how do we build out a satellite office? You need a digital infrastructure to really make that possible. I have a background of scaling that on a national level. As we've talked about accessibility, there are a number of marginalized communities who need to be centered in those conversations and thinking about how not just mobility or language barriers, but also cultural paths might create a barrier to somebody accessing the programming that they need at the court. And those are the areas I really want to focus on, is making sure that the court is stabilized so that we can continue to grow over the next 5 years.
Thank you. Ms. Brierly.
So one of my major goals for the first year in office would be to build up the staff that's there also. And we would do that by, I would do that by strongly advocating for additional employees. With COVID, the workload there is tremendous right now. And things are being dropped off at the court, things are being e-filed, things are being mailed into the court. And what we need is more staff there. The other thing that I would do is build up the Lawyer of the Day program. When I speak about access to the court, I speak about everybody in our county having access to legal assistance from that courthouse. And the way I would do that would be to access the IOLTA trust account. Their funds are already there, to access some great attorneys that I have worked with throughout my career who are already doing Committee for Public Counsel service work. There's so much support for the Lawyer of the Day program that I don't believe is being harnessed at this point. And I know these people, I've worked with these attorneys, and so these would be some of my strong ideas, to build up the support within the clerk's office, as well as that Lawyer of the Day program. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh.
Thank you. So there are several things that you would want to try to do in the first year. I think the first one that I would reach out to is to stop the voicemail. I think someone should be answering the phone at the courthouse, and I think that would be the first priority for me. Second, I would do is I would sit down and I would actually work with the staff and ask them, where are the improvements? What needs to be done to make this better? Third, I would sit down with the attorneys, ask them for their perspective. And then finally with the judges, you need to find out the people who use this court every day, where the flaws are, what can be done to improve the court system. There are several things, because I practice both in state court and federal court, I can tell you right now what's wrong with the e-filing system. I can tell you where it needs to be improved because I've worked with other courts that have a different system. When you represent individuals, you learn to listen to people all the time and find out and educate them. My job would be to educate the public on how to present their cases in front of judges, because most people who come to this court come without lawyers. And so you can improve it by listening to those who work in that field.
Thank you. And Mr. DeBona.
Thank you. I would like to start off by, just sitting down with the staff and getting some pros and cons of what's been going on in the past and elaborating upon that, increasing the access, obviously, to satellite locations, improving electronic filing to make it easier, more efficient, but also expanding that Lawyer of the Day program to increase multilingual, other languages. And I was looking into Cantonese, Mandarin, Spanish, and Portuguese, making sure that we take care of some of the folks that speak other languages and get that down pat. I like to bring other programs that I learned from Quincy Counselor at Large and the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office, bringing outreach programs to develop partnerships with nonprofit organizations and doing outreach. And we can do that via Zoom nowadays. And we also want to bring in protecting our seniors from scams of their wills and assets, things that I did at the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office, traveling the old 28 towns and cities throughout Norfolk County at the councils on aging and educating some of them. If we can't do that by that, we'll do it by Zoom and virtual. So we're looking to expand the office and do things to make it a lot easier for the staff to do their jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. This will be our last question, and we will start with Ms. Madden. If elected, what steps would you take to ensure that all who deal with probate and family court are treated equally and fairly? Ms. Madden.
That's a great question, because so many of our constituents don't feel like they're treated fairly. Over the last 5 years, I have been building out cultural humility programs, as well as diversity, equity, and inclusion benchmarks and measures, and meeting and exceeding them in a national organization. We've also brought our best practices to partnerships in 30 states around the country, increasing hiring practices both at the state and local level. I'm excited to bring that here to Norfolk County. And it's why I've been endorsed by the Massachusetts Retirees Association, because they know I can get the job done. My main focus is making sure that when you walk in that door, you are greeted with compassion and integrity and knowledge, so that you know that you have a friend, because it does feel like you're navigating a labyrinth as a pro se litigant. But even young attorneys feel intimidated walking into the courthouse. So acknowledging how folks are presenting and then taking the right measures and building out the programs that make sense for the courthouse are really my main priority, ensuring that everyone has access.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh.
I'm sorry, what was the question again, Marie? I'm sorry.
If elected, what steps would you take to ensure that all who deal with probate and family court are treated equally and fairly?
Thank you. So the short answer is I think it starts at the top. So I think coming in as the new register, you want to make people feel welcome in the court. And I think by being a leader, you show people this is the way we want to treat this court. This is the way individuals should be treated in this court. In practicing for 33 years, I represent all types of people, poor, very wealthy, all colors, all races, all genders, all religions, all sexual orientation. In my practice, I never discriminate, and I think I would take that to the courthouse and make sure that that is the number one thing that happens. And as a leader, you have to take control of that. And if you see something that is not correct, then you need to fix it. And I think that by being a leader and understanding both the court system and how individuals react when they're provoked in situations, that would be something very important to focus on. And so I think that would be the number one thing, is to create a great atmosphere for anyone coming into that courthouse. I can't guarantee the results, but.
Mr. DeBona.
Thank you for the opportunity to elaborate a little bit on this. I'm the only candidate of color. I'm the first Asian American to be elected in 2013 in the school committee, and in 15 as a Quincy City Councilor at Large, along with Nina Liang. I want to bring a little bit more diversity. Right now, presently, there's only 4 of the 25, 26 that are of color. I also talked about the multilingual piece of this. I would like to have an opportunity for folks to be treated equally by being able to have other languages in there. Expanding that lawyer of the day to having that maybe even virtually. Being a person that's come, I come from a divorced family. So I was a child of the probate and family court. I actually know what it feels like to go through that, as my parents did, and living with different parents at different times. So I know the compassionate, empathetic, empathy, integrity of this in situations that are going on. Working in the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office with inmates, I have a little bit of more of a background that I can bring to the probate and family court as your register of probate. So equally, thank you. That's
Ms.
okay.
Brierly.
Thank you very much. So the first thing that we need at the Probate and Family Court is education and sensitivity training to all employees, and a zero tolerance policy for this. This is a very strong platform that I have, a very strong position that I have. Nobody should be treated differently when they're approaching the courthouse for help. We need education to be provided to all litigants, practices and procedures in many languages, and we need education on what's already available there through the Massachusetts general laws, the indigent court costs, for example. As far as the lawyer of the day program, that is such a valuable asset to the court, because nothing's going to slow a courthouse down more than having a pro se litigant and an attorney trying to work out a case, or just all pro se litigants. We have quality lawyer of the day, but we don't have quantity of it. And so all of these programs combine the zero tolerance policy, the education, the sensitivity training are all things that I feel very strongly about. And as a leader, I would implement that. Thank you.
Ms. Hubley.
Thank you. It comes down to kindness and listening, but not just listening, but listening with compassion to each other. And this is vitally important in constituent services. Everyone that comes into the probate and family court deserves respect, and everyone that comes in there should get respect. And that's what they will find when I am registered probate. Thank you.
Thank you. We will finish with closing statements in reverse order of opening statements, starting with Mr. Walsh. You have 1.5 minutes. Mr. Walsh.
Thank you. So as an attorney representing individuals and families, I understand how important it is to help people navigate the legal maze. As the Register of Probate, I will use my legal experience and my expertise to improve the services that are currently being offered to everyone who visits that courthouse. I've spent my career being the voice of people who need assistance. And I will bring that to the residents of Norfolk County. just going to share a quick story with you because we only have a minute and a half. I got a call yesterday from a constituent in Westwood who wanted to make sure that I was not leaving my position as selectman, because if I was, she was not going to vote for me, because she said, Westwood needs you and we want you to stay. I assured her I was staying. You know, it's the experience of meeting people, both as an attorney and a select board member, to reach out to individuals, understand the needs, and to help solve their problems. The Register of Deeds is going to have to be a supervisor, an accountant, a business professional. You're going to have to go into downtown Boston and negotiate your budget for the year with the Chief Justice of the probate court. All of those things are important. A leader is someone who does all of those things, whether it's for client, whether it's for constituents. I am the person who is most qualified for this position. You go to walshforprobate.com. I couldn't possibly tell you all the things that I've been involved in a minute and a half. But if you go to my website, you can see at Walsh for Probate, you can see what experience I have and done, not what I'm looking forward to doing. This would be the capstone of my career.
Thank you. Ms. Madden.
Thank you. So I humbly ask for your vote on or before September 1st. Again, my name is Courtney Madden. I'm an attorney, a nonprofit executive, and an advocate. And most importantly, I'm a breath of fresh air. I am not presently elected as a first-time candidate, and this will be my sole focus. Some would argue that you need an attorney to run the Register of Probate. I would argue you need an attorney, you need a leader, and you need an advocate. And you shouldn't settle for anything less. I am all three. My platform focuses on three main areas: embracing a digital technology, which I have a background of doing; increasing accessibility, which I've managed to do across the state, across the country, and really across the globe. Thinking about children and families, starting from early days as a teacher, working through going to Israel to help support building out programs for minority women in Northern Israel, to now where I'm working to build public-private partnerships across the country in 30 states. The programs that we have at the Register of Probate make the difference outside of the courtroom. I want to make sure that they're supported adequately. So I humbly ask for your vote on September 1st. You can go to CourtneyMadden.org, Madden for Probate, but whatever you do, check Madden on September 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hubley.
Thank you. The Register of Probate helps families in challenging situations such as adoption, divorce, child custody issues, and bereavement. I believe my professional and personal experience make me uniquely qualified to serve. The Register of Probate needs to be an empathetic person who cares, not a politician. It's not about running a business, it's about helping families. There are many people in the probate office that look at issues from the perspective of a lawyer. I look at issues from the perspective of a mom. I am committed to serving the families of Norfolk County with integrity, empathy, and compassion to ensure fair and equitable services to all people. Primarily, I want to be elected to help. During COVID, I spent my time running a food drive for Interfaith Social Services, collecting over 800 masks for the elderly in the Quincy Housing, Braintree Housing, and Westwood Senior Facility. I also helped at the Dedham Food Pantry and the Weymouth Food Distribution for elderly immune compromised. Currently, I'm getting ready to start my annual September-October collection of hats and mittens for homeless kids. And I'm in my 12th year running this program. Why? Because this is who I am. Thank you for your time. Again, I'm Catherine Hubley, and I respectfully ask for your vote. It's Catherine with a K. And if you go to catherinehubley.com, you can see my video and check out more information about me. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. DeBona.
Thank you. I have 90 seconds, so I'm going to continue where I was at 30 seconds. I'm a father, and I'm married to my wife, Neve. I have 3 young children, Tyler, Aiden, and Nora. They're 7, 5, and 4. All 3 of them have special needs. We have definitely a house full of situations and things going on in here, but I also know how it feels like with things that are not going in the right order. Being a Quincy City Councilor at large for the last 5 years, being a former school committee member, this is my 5th election in 8 years. I get on the ballot every 2 years in Quincy, and I have to get reelected, and I've been successfully done that for the last 7 years. So I'm continuing, and people talk about politician. I'm dedicated to helping others. I've dedicated my entire life, starting off with youth sports, and helping out children and with football and soccer, to with the COVID-19 pandemic, doing the Meals on Wheels for the South Shore Elder Services, volunteering my time with everything that's going on. My platform is I'm going to increase access, improve electronic filing, expand lawyer of the day, protect our seniors, implement collaborative programming, take everything I've learned at the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office as a Quincy City Councilor at Large, a small business owner, a former school committee member, and mend it into the empathy and the compassion and the integrity of being the Register of Probate. My website is noeldebona.com. Feel free to come on to it, and I humbly ask for your vote on September 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Brierly.
Hello, my name is Colleen Briley, and I'd ask for your vote to register a probate and family court. I live in Norwood with my husband, Bob, and we have 5 children. I've been a foster mother, and I have adopted 3 children through fostering. They're all 12 years old now, doing awesome. As I travel around Norfolk County, visiting kids who I represent in foster care and on this campaign trail, I see the discrepancy in the resources in the different towns and cities throughout our county. Some people have many resources, and other towns and cities in our county, just 15 minutes away, do not have that. Every person in this county deserves access to justice, access to legal assistance from the court, regardless of their income, their race, their citizenship, or their national origin. Since 1998, I have been certified by the Committee for Public Counsel Services, representing many, many children through the juvenile courts and the probate courts. People who are indigent, people suffering from some very serious substance abuse problems, domestic violence, poverty, not having attorneys. I have fought zealously for all of these people. I have been a foster mother, as I said. During COVID, I have continued to represent individuals, mothers, fathers, children who are in foster care. People going through divorce and trying to see their children in visitation situations, people in guardianships, people relapsing. During COVID, all of my clients have had my cell phone number. They've had my text, and that's how I operate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I ask for your vote in the primary as the Democratic nomination for Register of Probate. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates, and good luck with the election.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting us. Thank you.
Our next office is County Commissioner. Julia Otala will present information on this office.
Our county government has a 3-member commission, and we are currently electing 2 of the county commissioners. These commissioners have 4-year terms of office with staggered terms. The county commission is the executive board of Norfolk County's incorporated county government, and in many respects is similar to a select board. The commissioners are ex officio members of the 7-member Board of Trustees of the Norfolk County Agricultural High School in Walpole. As the executive board, the county commissioners oversee the operation and expenditure of all of Norfolk County. They are responsible for making budget, policy, and other decisions to be carried out by Norfolk County's Commissioner's Office, which includes controlling a $31.7 million budget drawn from local property assessments and state funds. They also supervise the Facilities Maintenance Department, Engineering Department, Wollaston Recreational Facility, RSVP Volunteer Program, and the County Purchasing and Personnel Offices.
Thank you, Julia. Let's welcome the 4 candidates running for the 2 seats on the County Commission. We note that for this office, an independent, non-party candidate has qualified for the November ballot to run against the 2 elected Democratic candidates in the general election. Once again, we will start with 30-second opening statements in ballot order. Mr. Shea, who is the only incumbent running, will go first. Mr. Shea, please introduce yourself and remember to unmute.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Shea. I'm a lifelong Quincy resident. I served as Quincy's city clerk for 25 years, and I'm now running for re-election as your Norfolk County Commissioner. As a county commissioner for the past 5 years, I have been leading the effort to modernize Norfolk County's government into a cost-effective, inclusive, and transparent regional entity that provides real value to Norfolk County residents. I've dedicated my life to making a difference through public service. I believe in good government. I'm excited to be here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Guilfoyle.
Yes, we stop the time clock just so everyone knows that I'll be using my phone as the audio. My computer's not working on the audio side. So if there's any relapse on that, we can.
Oh, I see.
So I have both the phone and the computer going. So you won't see me muting on the computer. So I do apologize. Okay. Beautiful.
Now you may introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dennis Guilfoyle. I'm a lifelong resident of Dedham, Massachusetts, part of Norfolk County, the seat of Norfolk County. I started out my career as a town meeting member, moved on to the Parks and Recreation Commission, where I served as chair and vice chair. I then moved on to the Register of Voters, and then I was on the Board of Selectmen, where I've served 6.5 years, and I was just chair, and I got off to run for this seat this year.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ryan.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Charles Ryan, and I'm a candidate for Norfolk County Commissioner. A little bit about myself. I've been on the Norfolk County Advisory Board for the past 16 years. That's the legislative body of Norfolk County. I've been a Braintree Town Councilor at large for the last 13 years. I was a selectman for 4 years. Before that, I was also a Water and Sewer Commissioner. That's how I started being involved with the town of Braintree. Election day is September 1st. There's 2 votes you have for County Commissioner. I respectfully ask for one of your votes. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Stati.
Yes, hello, everybody. I'm Richard Stati. I'm a candidate for Norfolk County Commissioner. Pleased to be with you this afternoon. I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I've served my committee as chairman in the past for 5 years. Currently, I'm the town moderator, and also have been a member of the Select Board in Canton for 9 years. Also a member of the advisory board. I've served for 30 years and are familiar with the budget of Norfolk County. I think my skill set as an educator and a lawyer will help solve some problems we're facing in the years ahead, and I would welcome your support and any questions you may have on my website. Thank you for consideration. Vote for Richard Stati.
Thank you. For our first question, we will start with Mr. Guilfoyle. Candidates have 1 minute to answer the questions.
Please.
What is the most important issue facing Norfolk County in the next year? And if elected, how would you address it? Mr. Guilfoyle.
It's funny you asked this question. I was the first one around last time too. The hardest thing that we're going to have is the budget. It's definitely going to be on what the funding is coming in from the state, what the funding is going to be for the state for the schools department. We need to focus on that. We have going to have budget problems with our retirement, our OPEB. As the chair of Dedham Board of Selectmen, Select Board now, we brought up, we were in the top 10% on retirement, which a lot of people are leaving off to the side, which is going to hurt the Commonwealth in the end. So definitely 110%, the financials are going to be the burden, and it's going to be for this year and the couple of years to come in, because as we know, COVID-19, we had to stop a lot of funding and a lot of business and a lot of things happen. We were lucky in Norfolk County right now that home sales are still thriving. People want to be in Norfolk County, so that would be a help. But that's going to be the most challenging thing that we have to deal with right now in Norfolk County. And I think my experience on the Board of Selectmen would help me.
Thank you. Mr. Stati.
Oh, thank you. Obviously, COVID has impacted the local budget, the state budget, the federal budget. So without question, finding ways to produce more revenue without impacting taxes is going to be our #1 job, I think. But also, along with that, I think we are at a pivotal point in the county. We're at a pivotal point in government. We need to show some flexibility and some new ideas. We need to adapt. Just as COVID has made us use Zoom to have our meetings, and we've moved on, and we're looking at different ways to educate our students as well, other than the traditional methods. I think in terms of serving our people and serving you, the constituents, we need to rethink what we're doing as county commissioners. We need to think outside the box. You know, as a teacher at Canton High for many years, I used to tell my students, there's no problem you can't solve. Just keep testing out things and try things outside the box. Well, I think as a county commissioner, I'll bring that skill set, like I said, to find ways to make it work. And I'll work hard for you to get us through the next couple of years, which are going to be tough. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ryan.
Hi, I think that the biggest issue facing Norfolk County right now will be finances due to COVID. Norfolk County gets its revenue, good sources from the Register of Deeds. I think that we haven't really seen home sales diminish too much at this point. So thankfully, we're not going to be impacted too much in that regard. But I've been on the Norfolk County Advisory Board for the past 16 years. I have a very solid understanding of the budget and what goes into the budget. So I would work with staff in Norfolk County and try to come up with where we could cut the budget as with the least harm possible. I have a master's in business administration degree from the University of Boston, so I have very good financial experience in my job. I oversee a multi-million-dollar budget. I'm the director of wastewater operations and maintenance for the MWRA. So I have very good experience, and I'd put that to use. And I think finances are going to be critical over the next few years. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Shea.
I'm going to make it unanimous, Marie. I agree. And I think that financial management and the budget is the most important thing that we all have facing us in the next several years. And this year, late in July, with the advisory board, the Norfolk County Commissioners established and asked for and received the funds to have a best financial management audit done. And this audit is out to bid now and will be done in the first quarter of 2021. It's a best practice audit. We're going to look at all of our practices, all of our budget items, all of our accounting, all of our operations, and all of our staffing. And hopefully this will bring us into the 21st century. The second most important issue in my mind is supporting our agricultural school. We're installing solar energy, teaching students solar, and we're working with the School Building Assistance Bureau about fixing our buildings. And we want to expand our regional services to the various cities and towns.
Thank you. For the next question, we will start with Mr. Ryan. As Norfolk County is one of only a few functioning county governments in the state, make the case for why we need or don't need a county government. Mr. Ryan.
Thank you. We need county government in Norfolk County. It's been a long established county government. We do a good job in Norfolk County running the county government. Joe Shea, our current county commissioner, does a good job. And I think we don't need to abolish county government and start from ground zero. We have people in place. We have systems in place. We just need to make sure we continue to do a good job. We need to make sure we're looking and spending our tax dollars wisely on county government. I think I'm just the person for that. I think my educational background, I have an engineering degree. I have my MBA. I've been involved with my town for 13 years. I think, and I've been on the advisory board for 16 years. I think the combination of those things make me a good candidate for county commissioner. So I think Norfolk County does a good job, and we just need to make sure we're going to continue to do a good job. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shea.
I agree that we should continue with county government. I know that 1793 was a long time ago, and I know that in the 1990s, the state cut various counties. But Norfolk County has survived that, and we do meet our expectations. It isn't easy, but we're doing the very best we can, and I think we supply a value to our member cities and towns. First of all, the agricultural school serves 595 children from the county and other places, teaching them. It's a first-class institution, and it occupies several acres, 35 acres in Walpole, and it's over 100 years old. It needs help. Secondly, we formed regional partnerships. I said earlier in my introduction, with certain towns. We hired a public health nurse for Holbrook, Randolph, and Sharon recently, and the county's happy to pay for it. and our engineering and survey crews go out and help all the various cities and towns. We can do better, but I think the county has done a great job in the past several hundred years. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stady.
Yes, thank you. That's a great question. I think it goes to, again, the heart of why someone runs for county commissioner. When you talk to other people who live in different parts of the country, county commissioner has a larger role. In some places, the county runs the police department, and some it runs the fire department, and some it runs public works. And of course, in Massachusetts, it's got a more limited role. But I think, again, what I said earlier, COVID is going to make us rethink the way we do things. We don't know what's going to happen. There could be a second surge. We hope not, but there could be. And if the bottom falls out in the budget, we're going to have to really rethink the way we do things. And perhaps the county can be the facilitator for more partnerships across the board. As the previous speaker hinted, they're starting some regional ideas, and I think that's great. That should be commended. But we need to expand it. We could look at all sorts of avenues in which we can expand regionalization. So county government should not be abolished. The Norfolk County is well run. We can make it better. Hopefully with my skill set, I'll be able to show you that, and hope we can work for a better future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Guilfoyle.
Thank you so much. I also agree that we shouldn't abolish county government. I have 29 years of experience working with Suffolk County, who was taken over by the state. And I think sometimes being a smaller entity in the counties, we can get a lot more done. And one, we have a lot of small communities in Norfolk County. And I feel if we turned everything over to the state, they would be left behind, and they would be way out on the pecking order to have things done and services done. I think the county, being small and being controlled, can do that. A small example is when I was in the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department, still am, there was healthcare was ran by Suffolk County, which was the city of Boston councilors. Same doctors, same plan, same everything. Costs went flying up, and it was supposed to be a bigger entity with the state. It wasn't. The county was doing a better job as itself in the city of Boston. There's a lot of things that we can do. The retirement, we can control the retirement, the OPEB. We can do a lot of different things. I think county government should stay right where it is, and I think we're doing a great job, especially in the treasury and the retirement side and the agricultural.
Thank you. For the last question, we will start with Mr. Stady. If elected, what specific steps would you take to ensure that your office is transparent and accountable to the citizens of Norfolk County? Mr. Stady.
Okay, well, I think a couple of things I'd like to do, and maybe it's a little bit, again, outside the box. At the present time, of course, everything's done by Zoom meeting, and that's the way it's going to be for a while. But I'd like to see the county commissioners meet actually at least once a month, perhaps twice a month in a different location. Move it around. It doesn't have to be in Dedham. No disrespect to Dennis, my colleague, but the county government could be taken out to different places, and that way it becomes more relevant. Secondly, let's make sure we're always observing the open meeting law. That's very important. Third, again, to make it relevant, you've got to show a relationship between what people are paying for and what you're getting. So how do you do that? By, again, looking at ways we're doing things now and what we could possibly do. A couple of things we could look at again would perhaps regionalize services in different ways that towns that are small, that are having budget constraints, may come to us, and we can find ways to do that. We did that once years ago with the fire department. I was on the committee that organized a regional dispatch system and to serve 4 towns, and it was a great benefit to the community. So that's just a step. That's a way we could do it. And I thank you. I'm sorry I ran over time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Guilfoyle.
Yep, I believe in transparency 110%. I think we can do a better job. I think we can, it's all online now. Minutes are online. Everything is online. I think we need to, as Mr. Stady says, we do move around. As chairman of the Board of Selectmen, we moved around to all the different districts in the town of Dedham. I think we should do it also. I don't think we should leave Dedham altogether. I think we should spend some time out there. I also think another big thing with transparency and everything going on, I think we need to spend more time with our local boards and take time to go and speak to the boards and let them know what the county's doing. And on the campaign trail, one of the biggest things the constituents always ask is, what does a county commissioner do? I think we need to be more involved in letting people know what county government is doing for them on a regular basis. And I think that's one of the main things that we need to move forward to. We need to do more computer. We need to do more access of social media, which we're running campaigns on right now. The county could step up into that level, and we really could get a lot of information out there so people know exactly what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shea.
Recently, the county went through an incredible process making all of our budget information publicly available. It's really making a difference this year. Residents deserve to see and understand the county and its budget in action. All of our meeting agendas, meeting minutes, and budget information and job postings are all on the Norfolk County website. Recently, we made our meetings more accessible to all by using the Zoom and YouTube technologies. Granted, COVID played a big part in that, but just in the 5 months we've been doing it, I've noticed a tremendous difference, and I think it's here to stay. And we have a dedicated YouTube channel where residents can access all of our meetings 24/7. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Ryan.
Thank you. I think that having the meetings available on Zoom is a tremendous move in the right direction as a result of COVID-19. I think we should continue to do that where people can actually see what is happening at a Norfolk County meeting. I think social media was mentioned. I think the more information we can make available on social media to let people know what Norfolk County does is the right thing to do. Going around to different cities and towns, if I'm lucky enough to be elected as a county commissioner, I would go around to, one of my goals would be in the first year is to go to every city and town if they are having meetings, if we're back meeting in person, and just meet the selectmen, let them, the councils, let them know what Norfolk County can do for them. I think, I believe in transparency. If people know what's going on and ask questions, it's a good thing. If they don't, they're going to be suspicious, and we need to be very transparent. I'd have a database where we could have people, if they call in with questions, we can document them and make sure they're being answered too. Thank you.
Thank you. We will finish with closing statements in reverse order of opening statements, starting with Mr. Stady. You have 1.5 minutes. So Mr. Stady.
Okay, well, thank you very much for this opportunity and putting it together. I think the young lady who started the program off by outlining what the commissioners do saved us some time, because I think you, the voter, are going to have a tough choice in looking at these fine candidates and judge how do you evaluate who's got the best skill set to serve you. Certainly, being a former select board member, being a town moderator where I work with all the departments all the time in my town and all the budgets, being a longtime member of the advisory board for longest than anybody else and past chairman has given me a hands-on knowledge of the county. But let's go beyond that. What do I do if I get elected? Well, we've all heard about how we're looking for financial remedies. One thing I've said from the very beginning is I'm a big proponent of renewable sources of energy. I know they've started doing that at the Aggie School. There could be some problems there. Hopefully it'll be worked out. But I'm a big proponent of that. I've always been green. And I think that serves two things. It's clean, renewable energy, and it generates revenue for both the cities and towns in the county. Second, we need to improve regionalization. Third, we need to prioritize all of our capital programs and put it on a regular budget. Where do we get the money from? Perhaps again, from the solar revenue we generate by solar panels. And fourth, I think in terms of the golf course, that's one of our assets, it's underutilized. We need to look at that very carefully, and perhaps that use could be expanded safely and in the right manner to generate more revenue and more productivity. I'd be proud to serve as a commissioner. I'd be honored to serve, and I appreciate your vote on Election Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ryan.
Hi, again, thank you for having us here tonight. I really appreciate the opportunity. My name's Charles Ryan. I'm a candidate for Norfolk County Commissioner. I am from Braintree. I'm a counselor at large in Braintree for the past 13 years. I was a selectman for 4 years before that, and I was a water and sewer commissioner in the town of Braintree for 4 years before that. I was elected as the leader of every one of those boards that I was on by my peers. My educational background, I have an engineering degree from Mass Maritime. I have my MBA from UMass Boston. I'm a Catholic Memorial High School graduate. I continue to go back to school. I've gone to Bentley University leadership training recently. I've been involved with the Norfolk County Advisory Board for the past 16 years. I'm a parent. I'm a single parent. I have a son with Asperger's. I've been on the Special Education Parents Advisory Council in Braintree to try to make Braintree a better place to raise my boys, and for my son Matthew with Asperger's. I think I have great experience. I work for the MWRA. I've I'm the director of wastewater operations and maintenance. I'm in charge of a staff of 200 that do many of the same things that the employees of Norfolk County do, an engineering department, operations and maintenance department. So I'm going to be able to hit the ground running. On September 1st, you have 2 votes for county commissioner. I respectfully ask for one of those votes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Guilfoyle.
Yep.
You can go.
Waiting for the time to start. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. Hi, I'm Dennis Guilfoyle, candidate for Norfolk County Commissioner. I'm from Dedham, as I said earlier. I'll go through a couple of things that we didn't have too much time in the 30 seconds. I am happily married, 2 children, a 17 and a 14-year-old. I worked for the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department. I was an officer for over 20 years. I retired out and I became the legislative advisor to the sheriff on union affairs. Unions are very passionate to me. I spent more than 19 years of my career either elected or appointed to the union. I sat on the Boston Labor Council for over 9 years. I'm a life member of the Democratic Town Committee here in Dedham. As I said, I got elected in my first time being elected or appointed to office in the town of Dedham was in 1991, and I haven't stopped since. This is the first time that I haven't been elected, either a town meeting member or a thing. I got off the Board of Selectmen to run for this seat. I ended up staying on for an extra 4.5 months of the Board of Selectmen to run through COVID as the chairman. And then we finally were eligible to have an election, and I started getting out here. Very trying times. Many social groups I belong to, the Knights of Columbus, the Elks, the American Legion is very passionate to me. I'm past commander of the Sons of the American Legion and past District 6 commander of the American Legion Sons. I respectfully ask for one of your votes either today, tomorrow, or on September 1st. Good luck, be safe, and thank you very much for this time.
Thank you. And Mr. Shea.
For the past 5 years as your county commissioner, I've worked to make Norfolk County government better, more efficient, and transparent. For the first time in Norfolk County, we are creating policies to help guide financial decisions. We have prioritized reasonable services and professionalizing administrative policies, all while collaborating with our local communities. Today, the pressure facing our students and teachers are more prevalent than ever. I'll continue working to prioritize 21st century funding to provide the agricultural school with resources to ensure the county's educational opportunities remain cutting edge. I've dedicated my entire life to serving people and providing trusted, proven leadership every step of the way. Public service, good government, and helping people have been my life's work. I'm Joe Shea. I'm proud of the forward-thinking leadership that I brought to Norfolk County for the past 5 years. As a lifelong activist and your county commissioner, I respectfully ask you to continue to support me and your vote on or before Tuesday, September 1st. I've recently received endorsements from the Norfolk County Labor Council, the Mass Retirees Association, and I really want to take this time to thank the League of Women Voters for providing this forum for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, candidates, and good luck with the election.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Thank you so much.
The last office is County Treasurer. Maggie Lehman will present information on this office.
The county treasurer is responsible for the collection, custody, and management of all money belonging to the county government, as well as the disbursement of those funds according to the law. This includes departments directly under the county commissioners, as well as the Autonomous Registry of Deeds and the County Agricultural High School. The county treasurer is also responsible for keeping financial records, including bills, vouchers, and documentation of borrowings and debt, and they serve under a 6-year term. The county treasurer also serves as the chair of the County Retirement Board. So the Norfolk County Retirement System has approximately 40 member units, which includes towns, housing authorities, and special districts. There are also approximately 9,000 active and retiree members. The NCRS has approximately $950 million in assets towards long-term funding obligations of $1.5 billion.
Thank you, Maggie. Let's welcome the two candidates running for treasurer. The current treasurer is not seeking re-election, so there is no incumbent candidate.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bellotti. Please introduce yourself.
This is my opening? Yep.
This is your opening.
Okay, beautiful. I'm Michael Bellotti. I grew up in Quincy. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I am raising my 3 children in Squantum, Massachusetts. Grew up in Wallaston. I was sheriff for 19 years, a state legislator for 6. I like to think that I transformed that office in ways that impacted folks throughout the county that didn't exist before, and focus on reentry and rehabilitation.
Thank you. Mr. Kroll.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brad Kroll, Democratic candidate for Norfolk County Treasurer. A little bit about myself. I am married to my wife, Lori, from Walpole. We have 2 young children. Professionally, I spent my entire career working in the financial services industry for about 15 years. The first half focused on investment management, the second on retirement plans, fully licensed. And I also served as a city councilor in my hometown for the past 5 terms. Thank you for the invitation. Looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you. For the first question, we will start with Mr. Kroll. Candidates have 1 minute. What financial management experience do you have that qualifies you to manage the county treasury, and specifically the large county retirement system? Mr. Kroll.
Thank you. My experience is twofold. So with respect to the county treasury, I think I mentioned I currently serve as a city councilor in my hometown, where I've taken on multiple leadership roles, including finance chair, where I oversaw a $300+ million budget. Really, bringing a skill set that not only understands like how budgets flow from a revenue standpoint, but how municipal financing works, bonding, and how these actions actually impact our credit rating. Professionally, I've spent my entire career working in financial services, specializing in retirement plans. I have a beyond working knowledge of the intricacies that go into not only the investment management piece, but literally the day-to-day selection, the day-to-day administration. I'd love to bring that 15 years, and put it to work on behalf of the participants inside of the pension fund. And I appreciate the question. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bellotti.
Thank you. And first of all, I do want to thank the League of Women Voters, which I was remiss earlier. So I oversaw the sheriff's budget on the average about $35 million when I was there. We oversaw upwards to close to $700,000 to $800,000 in federal grants. I was very, very involved with the HR component of the sheriff's office. I understand how Chapter 32 can impact folks and create anxiety. Worked very closely sometimes on individuals who are retiring or retirees. I'm a graduate of New England School of Law. I understand the law comes across in some ways where the perception is it's a very simple law, because folks think it's just a 3-component law in terms of how you break up your retirement if you want to retire. But really, it's very complex, and it impacts folks in many different ways based on the years of service and if they had broken service. So I really understood that the defined benefit plan, which is again our statutory plan, how it impacted individuals, and I worked on that closely.
Thank you. For the next question, we will start with Mr. Bellotti. What impact, if any, will the pandemic have on the county retirement system? And if elected, how will you minimize the impact? Mr. Bellotti.
Yeah, I think it will have an impact because cities and towns, as employers and members' contributions mean a lot. But we know that the third prong of that three-legged stool is the investments. So we know there's going to be a major deficit on the state level unless the federal government bails them out. And that's going to indirectly impact all of the county elected officials and the county employees. So what I'm going to make sure I do is look at the investment, make sure there is diversification, that we're looking at all the vehicles, which ones are the safest ones, whether it's the different markets and variety of vehicles that they're using, and to make sure that we have the best people overseeing that, but being hands-on in making sure that we're really lessen the risk, working with the state house, because there may have to be some bailouts for the counties through the state or the federal government, and just making sure that that the retiree is protected.
Thank you. Mr. Kroll.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, to your question, there's a lot of the unknown that's going to play itself out in the fiscal year 2022. I would just say, knowing that the league, is hosting this, Canton, Stoughton, Westwood, and Walpole collectively are sending over $15 million in employer contributions, which means out of their tax base and into the county pension system. So that's money that they can't use locally. What that looks like for next fiscal year remains to be seen. I believe that, you need to have somebody in that seat working with the board, working with the investment consultant that knows how to not only ask the right questions, but make tough decisions. What I mean by that is a lot of this will be driven by market performance, but remember, pension funds kind of lend themselves to an investment policy statement. It's a long-term investment. So one area that I think we should be looking at is renegotiating fees, because in the absence of performance, we still need to grow the fund. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the last question, and we will start with Mr. Kroll. What changes, if any, would you make to the current operations of the Treasurer's Office? Mr. Kroll.
Thank you. One of the proposals that we have rolled out to Norfolk County is coming up with a robust communication platform. The number one question, I heard it said here earlier, but the number one question posed to me is, what is the Norfolk County Treasurer's Office? What do they do? And I think that to me says that there is a tremendous amount of upside to increase the level of connectivity with that office and the 28 cities and towns. And what I mean by that is truly creating an experience for people. We all fund this office through our taxes, and I feel like we should be able to articulate value. I believe if we can get the communication correct, out of that will find itself a 21st century financial literacy program, which we have proposed to create a very diverse advocacy group that acts as representation to the Norfolk County Treasurer's Office, so that when we put out a program, it's actually meeting the needs and meeting people where they are based on the community aspect. So those are two issues that we would like to tackle in the very short term. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bellotti.
So I think Brad's right. People do ask, what is it that the Norfolk County Treasurer's Office does beyond the people's limited perception? And when I became sheriff several years ago, I think people asked, what is it that the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office does in terms of how it impacts people's quality of lives? I'm hoping, and I'm thinking that people don't ask that question as much, because we have done so much in the area of growth around reentry, senior and youth programs, capital improvements, energy management. We now have solar panels on the roofs up at the jail in Dedham. But we really created a really state-of-the-art youth camp. But what I would do at the Treasurer's Office is innovative programs like the Sheriff's. Educational courses for student loans and aid, so kids understand what type of debt they're going to get into. Senior fraud and scam prevention like at the Sheriff's Office. The institute the first tele-town hall events around healthcare and pensioners' concerns. Office hours in all 48 communities. I also believe that there's going to take some political solutions that involves all the stakeholders. So that's what I'll do as treasurer.
Thank you. We will finish with closing statements in reverse order of opening statements, starting with Mr. Kroll. You have 1.5 minutes.
Thank you again to the League for this forum. It's always extremely helpful to engage folks. And again, my name is Brad Kroll. I'm seeking the office of Norfolk County Treasurer. I come into these type of forums hopefully laying out some objectives so that you can measure me on. I do believe that Maggie had mentioned it. It is a 6-year term, and it's a 6-year term that's going to present multiple hardships. Having that professional financial services experience, I think, will allow me, as well as the County Treasurer's Office, to hit the ground running. There's going to be some tough decisions that have to be made in order to continue to, promote outreach with the office, but also make sure that protected benefits remain protected. I am not just interested in this office, I am absolutely committed. So what I can commit to you right now is that I will have the energy, the enthusiasm, the integrity, and the professional skill set to get the job done. I do respectfully ask for your vote on September 1st. And if you would kindly remember that when you go to the poll, vote for Kroll, Norfolk County Treasurer. And thank you again.
Thank you. And Mr. Bellotti.
Thank you again to the League of Women Voters. I just would like to just kind of reinforce, I was able to take an office on the county level and work and collaborate with police chiefs, fire chiefs, public safety folks, recovery homes like the Gavin Foundation, adult basic education programs, veterans agencies and groups. We brought together literally hundreds and hundreds of stakeholders all around making sure that the offender had the best shot at reentering our community without recidivism rates remaining high. Northeastern University came in. They reinforced what we thought we were doing correctly. 80% of the inmates before they were released from the sheriff's office participated in some type of program around education or substance abuse or housing awareness. And we really made sure that without really increasing the budget significantly, that we shifted the paradigm and shifted resources there. In the Treasurer's Office, I want to do the same. I want to focus on the senior programs, youth programs, and really make sure that people understand that the Treasurer's Office does impact their lives in that they'll never again ask, what does the Treasurer's Office do? There's unfunded liability of about 68%. We're going to take an aggressive look at that. We do have some leeway in terms of alleviating some of the stress on the towns and the average retiree. So it's all on the table. We'll go in with fresh eyes, but with a really idea to mirror what we did in the Sheriff's Office. I really appreciate this opportunity. And please vote for Mike Bellotti on September 1st.
Thank you, candidates, and good luck with the election.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And a big thank you to the candidates for their willingness to participate in our forum. We wish you all good luck with the election. And thank you to our Zoom and live stream audiences. A recording of this forum will be available on the Needham channel and the League of Women Voters websites. Eleanor McKee, co-president of the Needham High School League of Women Voters, will close the forum for us.
The primary election is September 1st, and the deadline to register to vote in this election is August 22nd, and the deadline to request a vote by mail ballot is August 26th. In-person early voting is August 22nd through August 28th, and of course, there is in-person voting on Election Day, September 1st. Visit the Massachusetts Secretary of the Commonwealth website for more details. The League of Women Voters Comprehensive Voter Guide, Vote 411, includes information on all of the primary offices as well as candidates' background and responses to questions. The leagues in Norfolk County thank the Needham channel for streaming the forum and the League of Women Voters of Massachusetts for the use of its Zoom account. Thank you again for joining us, and remember to vote on or before September 1st.